Hello, everyone. Welcome to the group conversation for the Strategic Marketing Department. My name is Ashish Kutiala, and I'd like to invite Colin Fletcher on my team to host today's call. I hope that you had a chance to look at the video we posted overviewing the slides, so we don't have to go over the slides today. Please post your questions on the agenda document, and we'd like this to be a question and answer session as much as possible. Let's start with Colin. Thank you for hosting this, and let you take it away.
Sure. Thanks, Ashish. And thanks to everybody for joining today. Welcome, everybody, to this strategic marketing group conversation. As Ashish mentioned, we have a link to the presentation in which there's a lot of information, as well as a summary video that we have linked. And we already see a number of folks contributing to the agenda doc, the notes. Sid, happy to provide the video. We welcome feedback on that. It's obviously our first go round with that, but thought it might be useful. Happy to have everyone provide edits as well.
Colin,
yeah, if you would, please. Yeah.
So in general, just have people say their question. It makes the video much easier to watch for people that don't have the agenda in front of them. So if you later see it. Also, typing is harder than talking, so people tend to give additional context, and also makes for a more entertaining video to kind of see the back and forth.
Thank you.
So give people a voice. My comments were, thanks for the video. That was great. Thanks for respecting everyone's time. Thanks for making the presentation editable. I was able to make those links in slide 9 clickable. I added the video to the first slide in the presentation. And also thanks for the amount of links in slides 12 to 14. I think this is one of the best GC preps I've ever seen. So I invited the shadows to link this from the handbook as an example of how it should be done. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Sid. Appreciate it. John, would you like to verbalize your question?
Sure. On slide 16, it seems like we're having a large number of competitive conversations, and you can kind of click into the spreadsheets there and see the details. I'm just wondering, is there a way that we're kind of synthesizing that information into maybe easier to digest kind of formats or actionable items like issues? So yeah, I'm just kind of trying to figure out how we take action on what we learn in those conversations.
Sure. I think there's a number of outputs that this information gets, as you worded it, synthesized into, or is the output of all that information gathering. I think Mahesh is on our competitive intelligence team is on the call, and I'd like to see if he'd like to articulate what all the different forms in which that information is being utilized.
Sure. So what we did was initially we did a webinar on December 19th for the sales team, summarizing what the data that we had seen up until then in terms of various customer scenarios and potential strategies that we can apply in those customer scenarios. Now, right now, we are further developing on that and preparing for sales kickoff, where we can give very detailed, actionable plans on each type of situation that you might encounter. For example, competitor X with a use case SCM, how do we approach it, right? Like that, we are kind of prioritizing on a competitor use case basis, and that would be shared at sales kickoff.
So I think I want to add to that, Mahesh. What we are also doing that you are leading is the analysis we do and the results we get out of that. We also put it in Crayon, our competitive intelligence tool. We also added on our comparison pages that are public facing the data that we can add. Most of which we do add, unless it's customer compromising, we tend to add it. And then it also goes onto our competitive intelligence and strategic marketing handbook pages.
And all of these inputs and outputs as well are what we use indirectly and directly as we think about the messaging that we create, helping inform conversations around identifying and highlighting differentiators and things that really grab market attention.
So there's no kind of like collaboration with the product team on what we're learning in these conversations, or how does that happen?
The data we hear that are pertaining to product teams, we are creating issues. And some people on the competitive team and the TMM team are also in touch with the product team on clarifications on how to do certain things, especially in terms of accomplishing integrations between our products and other products, in some cases competitive products. So it usually flows in as issues.
Well, and there have been and continue to be on an ongoing basis conversations with our different interlocks between the product marketing team, Mahesh's work, and our product management team, as well as typically the route to influencing product direction and prioritization. So, for example, we worked on a significant effort around a particular vendor a few months ago. Feels like a few months ago, maybe it was more than just a few, but where we put together a fair amount of information, and that was tracked in issues, as well as had a larger output that we were able to share and get input and review from the product management team.
Thanks for those answers.
I appreciate the question. Thank you. Sid, you're asking about, would you mind articulating your question, please?
Thanks. So on slide 17, they talk about partner marketing with AWS and GCP. That's really exciting. I'm not sure, I think this is a public stream, so I'm not sure what you can talk about and what you can't, but what is the extent of the partner deals? How many salespeople in those organizations are we reaching? What is the expected kind of result of that over the next couple of quarters?
I'd like to ask if Tina or Alicia are on the call and might want to respond.
If they're not on the,
I'm on the call, and I think Tina as
I
well.
understand you're okay. There you go. All right, Alicia, Tina, I'll let you answer.
Yeah, so Sid, with the AWS Sales Kickoff, that was a show that we sponsored that was specifically for AWS employees. It's they brought in technical folks and their sales folks. And so we went, and it was good to have these conversations. We got a lot of positive feedback. So if you click on that link, you'll see a lot of employees said, oh, my customers love GitLab. And one thing that we're actually thinking of doing, or actually we are doing, is providing AWS employees with free licenses of Ultimate, which will help them kind of be champions for GitLab and actually promote it even more to their customers.
Thanks. I see we had 200 scans at our booth. Do we have an idea of how many people we reached, how many people, salespeople there are total, and what we're expecting over the next couple of quarters to come out of this?
Right. So we're still working on follow-up emails that should be going out soon. So to be determined on the reach, there were thousands and thousands. I want to say, like, at the show, someone said the number 18,000, but I don't know how accurate that is. One thing about this show is it's kind of, I don't want to say secretive, but they don't want a lot of promotion like AWS. So it's hard to really get accurate numbers. But we, hopefully in the follow-up emails, we'll be able to see our reach.
So Sid, we'll be tracking this and making it part of like the metrics dashboard that Todd presents to you. We still don't have the data to be able to make any calls on how successful this was yet.
What is the goal?
I'm not the best person to answer that, but the goal is in general, like, to increase the pipeline generated. I mean, I don't know the exact number. That's what I don't know, Sid, but to increase the pipeline generated with this partnership effort. So we're hoping for a pull-through effect where the AWS sales experts, when they are in their accounts, can talk about the joint value proposition of GitLab and AWS to win the deals. So it's to increase the sales pipeline for us to be able to close.
Thanks.
Thanks, Sid. If anybody else has a question, please feel free to pop it into the doc.
I have, I'll ask another question.
Sure.
So I know the strategic marketing team was very involved in the programming for the Commit event in San Francisco. So just wanted to say thank you to all the folks who contributed to that event. I thought it was a great, opportunity for me to connect with the community. And I know a lot of other people felt like it was a successful event. So thanks for that. My question is, what, kind of did we learn from, Commit from the programming side that we plan to apply for future Commit events?
I'll like John Jeremiah to take the lead on that, and I'll add to it. John, you might be on mute.
So sorry about that, I was on mute. So I think one of the lessons learned for this from a programming perspective is going to be looking at planning the overall theme for the event and how we build out tracks and content that supports this. We adjusted our theme and our approach for San Francisco partway through, and we made it work. I think we can be better at planning it farther in advance so we're clear as to what we want the main stage flow to look like and how that comes together. I think our tracks worked well in San Francisco, and I've actually opened an issue, and I'll put the link to the issue in this discussion thread for what effectively is a call for tracks. I want to get ideas from our community here in the organization as to anyone who's interested in proposing ideas for tracks, and that will lead into the call for papers. We tried to break down the flow of 30-minute sessions to try to keep it fairly concise. I think that on main stage we had 20-minute sessions. That was positive. I think I got good feedback that kept it flowing. And to all of the speakers who did on the main stage, we stayed pretty close to that. We had 30-minute sessions in the tracks. I think that worked relatively well. We'll probably talk about maybe doing a couple of longer blocks and varying it a little bit, depending upon the content. But those were some of the learnings. I don't know. I'd be open to Ashish. What was your takeaway?
Yeah, I think in addition to that, what we also discovered is that the planning for the venue and how it's laid out should go hand in hand with what tracks we are planning to talk about, because we were constrained by the number of breakout rooms or like the stages that we could have. So that limited us to X number of tracks, which was 3 in this case. So, one of the lessons is, let's start with what do we want to present, what do we want the audience to hear about, and then try to kind of like go hand in hand with the venue planning. So that's kind of a little small detail, but really important. That'll help to make this better. Other than content, we learned around the tables that there was a great demand for tables like support, the booth demo. So we might think about advertising that ahead of the event when we are trying to sell the event, so that people know that they can get those kind of interactions when they come to the event itself. So that was also very useful learning.
Thanks.
If others have input on that as well, happy to have you add to the doc or other suggestions or questions too. Always appreciate the feedback. Anyone else have any questions or topics that they'd like to discuss?
If there are no topics, I would like to end with just one slide that I would like everybody to look at, and that would be slide 5. Happy to share my screen, but I think the slide's available for everybody. I'd like to congratulate William Chia as being recognized as one of the top 50 product marketing influencers by our peer community, the Product Marketing Association. There's a link to the report. Please click on that. This is a big deal, like especially for us and William. It shows how we, kind of try to do product marketing differently. So with that, if there are no more questions, I want to check once more. I'd like to say thank you for everybody for attending, and thank you for Colin for hosting today's call. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thanks.